terrifies us the most. Because the discernment to show us what's about to happen, and we begin to fight what we see even before it occurs. And sometimes we begin to dislike even some things because of what we see in the spirit, and it didn't even come to the pass. Whereas if we were ignorant through to the devices, although they have been planted, formed, they wouldn't really affect us because we'll walk right through them like droopy dog. We'll walk right through them, not even knowing they were there, although they were there, they were present. So sometimes our discernment gets the best of us. When I think about Jeremiah, he actually hears wars. And it frightens him, but it's calming him. He's going through a different type of coolness. He's surrendering himself, because there's a panic in him. And that panic is making him, because we suffer obedience through the things, we learn obedience through the things we suffer. And so our spirit comes into obedience when we're going through. Now, there's a different type of going through for Jeremiah. The Lord has showed me that we go through with heat and anger and hurt. When we're going through sickness, it's almost like a trauma type of going through, and it can leave a lot of rigid edge. But when we're going through and we're not aware of what's happening, we just tend to calm down and look around us, and the Lord has us more in control. There's no harm being done. It's more control than anything. It is different than a sickness, an ailment. That's more like a violent, and that actually makes us trigger back. And it could be because he's so young that he's coming down. He's coming down in a different way, and I thank God for that. He also, the Lord showed me, he can be feeling threats. There was a threat, because I had a dream one time, but it was Pastor Hurt's boys and Mother Hurt. It wasn't Pastor Hurt, it was Mother Hurt. And I saw them, we were standing in the back of my family, and it was Mother Hurt and her family. And the boys actually struck out at Jeremiah. And we couldn't find Jeremiah, because we came through the house, but Jeremiah, because there was a crowd, it's like they were having a party or something in there. And what looked like, it wasn't their backyard, but it was a meeting place. And we got detoured from Jeremiah. And so we walked through the house, and that's when I bumped heads with Mother Hurt. And I came out of the front door, and Mother Hurt's boys, especially the little one, they were offended. And so they went in the back and attacked Jeremiah. And so we kind of went down the street like my grandmother's street. And Jeremiah was wounded, but he wasn't hurt. And I saw him, and the Lord said to me, but he took the blows. And that's what I saw the Lord. He said, he's not whole, but he took the blows. As a young, he was little like now, and he had to stand up against blows of men, big boys. And they were physically wounded him. And he couldn't fight back, but he did walk. He staggered down the street, and he wasn't on his knees. He was walking, but his insides had been beaten. And the Lord said he took the blows, and it was a spiritual thing. And so I believe also with Jeremiah, for the longest he suffered was an attack, spiritual attack against who he was, because of me. A lot of folks hit him because they couldn't touch me. I've been going through for years, and when folks, let me tell you something about people. You have to sometimes get to the core of the core of their heart. A lot of folks won't touch a child as long as they can touch the object. And if they can't touch the object, then they'll touch a child. That's how you know how deviant a person is. They will wound a child. They may look like they won't, but they will hurt. They have the potential of hurting children, and they have no remorse for it, And so the Lord has showed me, but he yet was still standing. But yet he needed some attention afterwards because he had been wounded within. And so the Lord showed me that he was walking down the streets of Jeremiah. What happened? And he walking. But the thing was, when I grabbed Jeremiah, then comeback began, and I saw, and they looked like Muslims and others, and they said, don't worry about it, we got it. And so they went in, and the boys were so fearful of them. These were other grown men that was warriors, and they went in and they took them down, the Hurt boys, and they were actually afraid to move. Yeah, that's what I saw. And so the Lord is so good. Jeremiah could be suffering for what he see is a spiritual attack, and he is. He's very aware of what's going on in his surroundings, and again he starts seeing helicopters and planes, and they frighten him. He said he looks up at the air because he keeps seeing bombs dropping. Oh my God, he saw bombs dropping. The other day we were standing at the store. Now, I think because of what he sees spiritually, it makes him afraid naturally, right? And I saw Michael one time, very intimidated by Jeremiah. And all he wanted was Jeremiah. But this is like a month or so ago. All he wanted was Jeremiah. He actually wanted to fist fight Jeremiah. I saw Michael behind bars fist fighting young boys that was thrown back there. And they were hitting these young boys because they wanted them to be quiet. They were like snitches. And so I saw them go back there. I don't know if he was in there at that time, or maybe I was seeing what was going on when he was in there. But I saw him fighting young boys, underage boys, who they had sent out to do dirty work. And they were all placed behind bars. And I saw them all being placed behind bars at that time by Sheila. And Sheila was throwing them. And that's all I could see. And that's, and sometimes people pick that up. And like I said, Jeremiah could be picking that up in the spirit, what's going on. But he saw bombs. He really, I believe he doesn't know when it started. He always talks about the time the tornado came. Actually, that's the time he started verbally expressing his emotions. Even before the tornado, Jeremiah has never been afraid during the storm. Now, the storm, we didn't get hit by a tornado, but there was a president that came in through that last storm. And I saw it because that's when our lights went off. And I lay here, and thunder brought the lights back on. And so there was a president. Maybe that's the first one, a storm that had ever affected us. But I did see Jeremiah react right before the storm hit. He was afraid of the storm even coming in, and that wasn't natural. We have been through many of storms, and Jeremiah has never showed any interest in them. But this last storm, not the one that hit Dallas, but the one that hit San Antonio, this last storm, it triggered something in him because he began to complain about the storm even before it hit. He wanted to take shelter. He kept asking about tornadoes, and so the little red thing flashed up on it. He ran in here. He talked about the red thing. What does that mean, Mom? And we've already discussed the red things many of times, several times before, and it did not have an effect upon Jeremiah like this recent one did. And so after the storm left, he started, And again, I thought it was because he had drank that juice and had the Frito pie, and I thought someone put something in his Frito pie because he didn't get to eat all of it, but he did eat a great amount. And I said, someone dropped something in his stuff off that ice cream man truck. He snuck out there. I said, Jeremiah, no, don't eat from the truck. Don't get anything from that truck, especially stuff that's open. And he did, and he started acting funny. Yeah, but, he started complaining about the storm. And after the storm, he took a fright to it. And he came back, but he still at times, like I said, the other day we were standing in HEB parking lot, and the helicopters, they keep flying over. You can see them, and when they see them, his heart started hurting. It started bracing, and then it started hurting him. And so one was a police helicopter, and one looked like a jet, and then another one came after that, and he just, Mama, see, why is all the planes? And he took fear came upon him, but that's because what's in his mind. He keep, and he hadn't complained about the booms, and I hadn't asked him, but he was hearing booms. He said he kept seeing bombs fall. He don't know what war is, so all he says, I keep seeing bombs fall, and he was afraid because he said it felt like something was about to happen. I got 30 minutes almost up here. Yeah, and so that's just my dreams and Jeremiah. So Jeremiah could be feeling what's going on, but I see someone else, and they're moving folks around. It's like some folks are just not keen and they're not happy. And so you have to be careful because some folks are placed in position to do wrong and rob America. And so we have to be careful because this person I see coming into play when we talk about war, I don't know what his motive is. Trust me, I don't know. And then so I almost heard Yugoslavia. I don't know where's Yugoslavia at, but I heard Yugoslavia. And I saw Russia. Oh my God, I saw Russia. And so I don't know if China was planning on when we first hearing the bombs. I think a lot of folks are just tired of America and a lot of stuff that's going on here. There's a lot of stuff going on here in America, a lot of attacks, and I just feel like a lot of folks are hit, but the Lord knows. I'm going to let this go. My eyes are barely opening, but I want you to know that this is a new day. And this day we would just walk in, and my feet is anointed. I feel it. And the Bible says the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. And there's nothing he can't see, nothing he doesn't know. And so we just got to allow him work to do his will, whatever it may be. And I do feel like my steps are ordered today. So the steps of a good man are always ordered by the Lord. Peace.